Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse is a channel. Thanks for coming back by. Happy Friday. Happy Friday night. Live, right? We got a kind of a proper Friday reads here tonight. So I can't wait to get to it. That's for sure. Ghost book reviews. What's up? First on the chat, bam, baby. Um, a lot of times it starts before I push the button and people are just saying hey like to each other. So you got it. That's for sure. And it's gonna be fun. Tonight I finished a crazy book this week. Okay, The Broom of the System, David Foster Wallace's first book. So we'll talk about that a bit, just a little bit. It was a buddy read with Tom at LA Books. And just so you know, hey Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia. Thanks for coming by. There's my boy, Jeremy. PG, I ain't finna read that. Nice to see you, man. And I really did enjoy your video earlier. I enjoyed it a lot. I like you putting these two writers in the same, lifestyle, the same demographic, the same maybe not the exact same, of course, but up against each other in reviews like that, and we get to experience two different minds that wrote from a very cool place. I mean, just that's what we love to read. When you were talking about your review, I thought like that. You were like, it didn't give you anywhere to go afterwards or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, well, but this is storytelling. And you were talking about that. You were talking about getting some like literary merit from it, things like that. But this is storytelling and even from ground like grassroots. So I really loved um that kind of aspect of it, and that's why certain music has like uh you know an uprising or something like that where people watch it or listen to it because it's something that is outside of their normal experience. What's up, Alexa from Serbia? Awesome. It's so awesome to see you, brother. Ineffable. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Happy Friday. Lady Jane Books in the house. The Falcons here. Tyler. Oh, I tell you, good. You bought some books today. Can't wait to see them, brother. That's for sure. Um, Lucas over at a channel called Bits of Lit. He's a small booktuber. He just did a big review on Dune, the first book, right? Because he had never seen the movie. He hadn't read the book, so he's going to read the books. But he read the first book, and he's talking about it. It's a great video. I just watched it today. Hey, Sandy, happy Friday. Thanks for coming by. Sandy is always so freaking fun. I love your videos. Travel through stories. I watched your video earlier today too. A review of a book that is definitely more up my more up my street than the one that you were talking about before. But actually, the one you were talking about before is like it's not up my street. It's in my freaking front yard. This is, I live in Georgia. So this kind of ancestral thing, and it's just I was like, wow, this is hardcore. This is heavy, 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 baby. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Thank you, PG. It's just something like that. I loved hearing your thoughts about it too, and I could tell you were like, but this writing doesn't have like any literary merit or cred, and it does, especially because its authenticity. Its authenticity is for sure awesome. What's up, Pavio? All right, let's get to it. So, if anybody does want to get on, if you've read, I'd love to talk about it a little bit, any of these books or something like that. Um, just holler at me if you want, and I'll pop the link up in the description box or something. I don't care. And so this week I finished The Broom of the System by David Foster Wallace, right? And I was going up. I mean, dude, Infinite Jest is coming, right? I said I'm gonna start it like in November. It's already November. And then I'm gonna read it through the end of the year, give myself 2 months to read it. But I've been kind of like as it's getting closer, I'm reading more and more books because I finished Foucault's Pendulum so early. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to read Infinite Jest right now. You know what I mean? Like I was feeling like that, right? What's up, Juan? Thanks for coming by, brother. Our book exchange was freaking fun, and your video was so humbling and heartwarming, brother. I mean, I really appreciate the kind words. You're definitely a real buddy, a real friend. That's for sure. Pants, hell no, Jeremy. They're not just optional; they're frowned upon around BookTube parts, man. We're on the, you know. Hey, Trish, Bobble in the house. Bobble, thank you for coming by, and thank you for everything. Just reaching out and talking about books. I love it, and you're in the read along with us, and it's on. And I do. I want to read. I want to read House of Leaves again. You know what I mean? I really do. Hey, baby, Emily Clemens in the house. That's for sure. All right. I mean, dude, everybody's here. Look at this. Look at this. I made Juan wide eyed. I consider it a win. That's for sure. um. So with Cena at Beating Around the Books, she is such a delight. Her channel's so awesome. If you're not following her, her doing the House of Leaves read along, and I said I'd get in on it. Because I've done multiple reads with groups of House of Leaves. I've read it, but I haven't reread it like cover to cover ever. I read it one time. But I have reread it, probably the whole book, multiple times because what I'll do is I always jump into read-alongs with this book. I love to see people experience it for the first time, and it's just amazing. And then I can re-experience it, and I read parts of it, and I re-experience it. So I thought that's what I was going to do this time, but I really want to read it at this point. I want to read it again. I think it would be great to do it with the group, but I don't know if I can do that and read Infinite Jest. Like, I don't know about juggling reads, you know? I just don't know. Hey, Nancy, thanks for coming by. Happy Friday. For sure. Plagued by Visions. Yeah, do it. Do it. Yeah. You should do it, Ghost Book Reviews. Put together a video. Just put together a video and talk about books. You know what I mean? There's probably, at least you'll get some fun out of it. I have not read any of the Familiar series. I was waiting for it to get done before I experience it, And now that it's like done, I'm like, I've been itching for it. And I have volume 4 because I found it in like a thrift store and it was great condition. Nobody had ever read it. So I bought volume 4 and then I don't have any more. So I will read it though. I will read it. I hear it's good. I hear it's good. No, you won't know what to make of it, Lady Jane. Are you in the group? Do you want to be on the Voxer group? Because we are going to talk about it as we do it. And it's just fun. Just fun. What's up, Michelle Lexi? Thanks for coming by. Okay, so but I did read David Foster Wallace's The Broom of the System, and it made me want to read Infinite Jest, right? So I finished this book. It was a quick read. I am reading wonderfully right now, because of all these big books, right? And my reading is really just at a great pace. I can sit down for a little bit of time and read a lot, is what it comes down to. And so I love The Broom of the System. It's so funny. It's absurd. It's hilarious. It is some kind of fantastical realism. Like you're following around real people and they got crappy jobs, but everything is so exaggerated and overblown that it's by the halfway point of the book, you're like, this is fantasy. This could never happen. None of this could ever happen. Everything would crumble. It couldn't run like this. So this is fantasy. Everything is pushed as far as it can go. It's hilarious in big ways, and it brings up kind of questions of being, especially if you're starting, you have to start with absurdism, right? So we're in a absurd world, and this right here is actually the map of the town that we're uh, in the whole time in the Midwest, and it's just great. I like I said, I read it with Tom at LA Books, so we're gonna do some content. And speaking of Tom at LA Books, okay, I got a picture earlier that led me to believe that he is in New England and that he is in the same town that Steve Donahue is in. Reed Becca, happy Friday. And if anybody has heard anything or knows anything, just say the word and I'll be on my way up there. We need to um I need to go help Tom out or something like this. I don't know. I wouldn't mind looking at Steve Donahue's bookshelves, that's for sure. Yeah, you're not gonna know what to make of it unless you read quite a bit. It's kind of like dropping into a world, but there it is a narrative. I mean, you're following a family and all this kind of thing, but you'll see it's nested narratives like nobody's business. It's wonderful. What's up, Bryant's y'all's video? I can't wait to watch it. I'm watching it right when I get done with this. Actually, I'm watching y'all's video. So I love the Broom of the System. I can't wait to talk about it more. PG. So his progression as an author that I can tell just got better and better and better, more refined, and he just got better as a writer. And the limits. This is his first book. This is David Foster Wallace's first novel here, and so his limits. What's up, Brian? Happy Friday. He used his limits as plot devices in this. It's set where his college is, Amherst. It's set with the type of people that he is and he hangs around. So the mannerisms, the talk, everything that is something that might be coming through, like the author's voice coming through too harshly in a book, he used it as plot device, you know what I mean, so that it diminished any negative quality that immature writer kind of stuff might have been. Now, it doesn't make sense to call even the first effort from David Foster Wallace immature, because it's on another level. It's so fun. The writing is fun. The words and the writing itself, how it's delivered and everything is totally a riot. It's a farce. This is amazing, funny reading. I laughed out loud all the time, so many times. I probably laughed more in this book than anything that I've read over the last year, for sure. It's just hilarious. I mean, there's a guy in here. What's up, Brian? Happy Friday. Brian at Bookish in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, used his limits as plot devices. It's ridiculous. It's so good and it's great to see. And this is a fun read, and it is something that anybody can read. It's not so hopelessly erudite, in its word choices and things like this, that it pushes anybody away. I read this very, very quickly, and it is over 400 pages. 465 pages in my edition. Hey, Jack. Happy Friday, brother. Thanks for coming by. It's great to see you. I was listening to some BookTube while I was waiting for the lasagna to bake earlier. Zelda had helped me do it, and then I was thinking about you, brother. For sure. Jack is hilarious. Jack is hilarious, that's for sure. Nice to see everybody coming by, that's for sure. Around the Weird, what's up? You'll have to return to him at some point. I mean, he's just an amazing writer. I do recommend starting with his first novel. This was his one of two theses that he wrote when he graduated uh, from Amherst, I believe. And this is a great place to start with David Foster Wallace. I've read all short David Foster Wallace. That's the first novel by him that I've read, and it's great. It's so intimidating, but it's so intimidating. I'm doing it though. I'm doing it the end of this year. And I tell you, even though I've read big books all year, books just as big as that all year long, Infinite Jest still is intimidating. It just is. So we'll see how it goes. And I know it won't defeat me I've already conquered and done so many big books this year, and I love them. I mean, whatever the author was throwing out there, I was right along for the ride. So I think I can just do it. But I've also started for non New Worlds November, which is sci-fi focused reading challenge, whatever. And Scott and Becky, you guys have done great with putting together a huge group, a nice group of uh, booktubers that are all taking part, and people had made videos over and over. I've seen this week talking about, yep, it's like Gravity's Rainbow. You got to fail a couple of times before you read it. I've never tried. I haven't even read the first page. Yep. So, New World's November. I've seen videos for it coming up. People are already reading because it's focused on short stories. Sci-fi has very deep roots in short stories, in short fiction as a medium. So, of course, I'm gonna take part. I love sci-fi, but also I'm gonna take part in my own way, of course. So Scott Danielson, he has a channel himself, but he doesn't contribute to it much. I don't think he's too much into doing the videos anymore. He's more of a podcaster, and he just has his own thing going on. So, YouTube isn't everybody's kind of medium, right? But he still is a strong reader and loves reading, and has loves sci-fi. So for this, he's in the group, and him and I are buddy reading The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester. I don't know too much about it. I've only gotten through the first chapter, just started it. And it is very weird, very cool, very cool. Yeah, that's right. New World's November, baby. Scott D is a good dude. So he hasn't started yet, or maybe he has, because he said he was going to start it today. So maybe he has started it, and I've only, like I said, read the first chapter. These are cool. This is a cool edition with little embellishment at the beginning of every chapter and illustrations throughout as well. Some illustrations throughout, just monochrome but it's the Easton Press, right? Yes. See, Jack is gonna just kill me the whole time I'm on it. Jack is hilarious, man. You keep me laughing all freaking day, bro. I'm telling you. The Demolished Man, it's like this thing where there are mind readers. All the psychologists and everybody that is in a point of power is a mind reader. They do have telepathic powers where they can go into another person's mind and thoughts just with their own faculties, and they are in the employ of everybody that has power, right? But there's certain levels of these mind people, like people have these mental powers, and they are really running the show. I mean, I can tell off the first chapter, like, the highest level of the mind. People, you would think, well, the guy that we're following is the most, like, one of the most richest men in the world. He's a huge corporate conglomerate owner, and to think Tesla, think Elon Musk, right? Something like that. Somebody who's just got their hands in everything. They got more than they ever need, but of course he's still wanting more, right? So it's like a corporate espionage kind of thing going on between his company and another company, and he's got these kind of people in employ that are mind readers, right? And they block each other from, he's not they're not reading other people's minds. They're to read his so that he can really figure things out. um and it's just, but I see, like, the highest level of those guys, he doesn't even have one in his employ. It's like, you can't afford to keep me, in your employ. I have a business here, you know what I mean? And they do what they do, to help people and to grow people in their mind, whatever they do. I haven't seen too much yet, but it's obvious that they don't do anything that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? They are like the ones running the show. So we'll see where it goes. It's really cool. Sci-fi is like that, where it's just, okay, this is a cool idea. This is a cool kind of world and setup. Let's see where this goes, right? First chapter. Today I picked up, just because I wanted to, picked up Mouse and started reading it. And so I had read this when I was a lot younger. I don't remember much about it, and not, I mean, I remember reading it and I remember having it and liking it. But when I'm reading it, not a lot is familiar to me yet. I've only gotten through the first half of this book. So, it's a lot more of the background of the father leading up to his being in the war. And he is in the war now, and he's been captured as a prisoner of war now. But that's about where I stopped. And so we'll see. I'll get more into it, and then see if I do have some memories or something like that. But it is a very powerful work. People love that book. I loved it um, when I was real young and read it. So the since the bookish Bryants are here, I'll go ahead and shout out and say thank you very much. I've turned my shorts into like bookshelf tour. So if anybody wants to see like a bookshelf tour of mine, just watch my shorts. Um, and I haven't done many yet. Maybe 8 shelves, uh, 9 shelves. Yeah, the first one to win the Pulitzer. That's right. So I've done like 8 shelves or 9 shelves, but I do one shelf on a short, and I can just film, across the shelf, keep it slow enough to where you can see titles and things like that. But if there's anything on the shelves that you want me to review, just hit me up. And that'll be just in shorts. You can look at my shelves very quickly. There's no talking. There's no, saying anything. You can just look at like you would at the store, right? Scan spines. If something piques your interest, ask me about it, and it'll be cool. What's up, Peg? Howdy. Nice to see you. Peg rocks. Happy Friday. Um, so the bookish Bryants had seen one of my short BookTube, one shelf showings, and then sent me a book. So you could go a different way with it. Instead of contacting me asking me about a book, you could actually watch my bookshelf shorts and just send me a book, because you're like, wait, he doesn't have this one, I got it. And they sent me Gabriel Garcia Marquez collected novellas. This has Leaf Storm, No One Writes to the Colonel, which is, I believe, his first published work, No One Writes to the Colonel. And then Chronicle of a Death Foretold, which I have read before. I have it in a very small, like, paperback, Bantam paperback, maybe, those little small things that are great for reading. And this goes with my collected short stories. I have the same perennial classics edition that this is in my collected short stories. So it was just really, really kind. Thank you very much, Bryants. Y'all are fantastic. Like, just fantastic friends, fantastic booktubers, awesome parts of the community. That's just what it is. And I'm loving that. I will say, it didn't strike my first reading when I was young. It didn't strike my first reading all this stuff about how the father is so short with him and with his new wife, and how he is, like, always he's blaming. He gets, he's codgety and this kind of thing. Don't make me. Have you read that? I haven't read it. Yeah, I saw that you have that same one, Brian. You got the same one as me, that's for sure. Yeah, okay. Chronicle of a Death Foretold is definitely on a different level, for sure. I think the other two, like I said, are early novellas. He was still kind of getting, you know, a an idea for form, I think. And when it comes down to it, I hear that, Pedro Paramo was a catalyst for him writing 100 Years of Solitude, and I definitely saw that on reading it. I was like, man, the structure, the way that it goes around, tells you something and then loops back and then tells you some more in that happened already within, and then it'll loop back again, and still you move on, but then you don't move on, and it's just this, you're in a spiral, you're in a cycle like that. Pedro Paramo's narration has this kind of thing, has this kind of I tell you, Ineffable, I will review anything that's currently on my shelves eventually. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I'm not you know, I'm not reading The Bridges of Madison County. That's for sure. Nice. Very cool. Thank you, Brian. So, this is coming up on my channel. If you follow me, you know that I have this kind of love-hate relationship with Jose Saramago, right? Jose Saramago is somebody who, um I love when I'm reading him. I love it. He's a great writer. It's enjoyable, but what he says, like, what he's saying with his books, I don't like at all. you know, I don't like it at all. I think that he's, wrong in some ways, but it's not a thing about being right or wrong. It's a thing of him being super arrogant and thinking that he's, smarter than anybody else in the room, any of his readers, that's for sure. And he's going to tell you how to think. He's going to tell you how to frame the world, and he's going to, that's his thing. In some of the works that I've read, the gospel according to Jesus Christ, for sure. But I met up with a buddy, and I'm going to be on his podcast. I've already been on his podcast, right? It's going to be released very soon. I think it's Monday, this Monday, that it will. It's a brand new podcast. He's just started it. I'll put a link. I'll do a post or something like that to show you guys, and I'll probably get the video, because we did video it as well. We were all on a Zoom or a StreamYard or something, right? And so I'll get the video, and then we can just have that. I'll post it on the channel, but I'll give a link to the podcast first, days before, whenever it drops, so that then you can just hear. And it's all about Thomas Pynchon. We're just talking about Pynchon on his podcast. And afterwards, we were talking about reading, and we really um, kind of hit on a number of books and stuff, but he really loved Saramago. And then he goes, you know what? But I kind of don't like Saramago. And I was like, brother, we're right there. But I wouldn't doubt if it's for different reasons, right? I wouldn't doubt if it's for completely different reasons. So we're gonna read together. Oh my God. Blindness is a horrifying book. A horrifying book. I mean, it was so scary, to my mind, that I didn't even think about that book other than when I was reading it. Like I would not sit and think about the kind of stuff that it brings up. Thank you for coming by, Jack. Nice to see you, brother. Hope you have a great dinner. Y'all have at it. Very cool. We're gonna buddy read Cain. This is not a big book. You see, it's short. So we're gonna do this the beginning of next year, January or February, right? So it's 159 pages. Nothing to it. But it is Jose Saramago doing a take on the Old Testament story of Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve, right? Very cool, Peg. If you want to get in on it, I'll let you know when we're doing it. It's probably going to be around January. Maybe like mid-January is when we'll start. I'm gonna read. I already have one book that that I'm gonna make my first read of the year, and I'll let y'all know more about that as in December when it gets closer. But Cain will be my second read of the year, so it's gonna be interesting. And Saramago is a very very good writer. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Cool, Peg. You're making me excited. I'm so down, Peg. Well, we might just do it on Instagram if you're down. I'll do a group message thing on Instagram, and on those you can talk and type just like anywhere else if we want to talk a little bit cuz the guy, he's active on Instagram for sure. So I can't wait, but I'm prepared to you know, rip it apart. I'm prepared to, you know, just rip it apart. But I'm not judging. I'm not prejudging, that's for sure. I have no idea what his take is going to be like, and I would never presume to rip apart a book in any way that I got from other books or from other experiences of an author, especially somebody on the level of Jose Saramago, because I wouldn't doubt if he's done something new with every book. You know what I mean? The books that I've read by him all are very different. The Double, um, Blindness, the Gospel according to Jesus Christ. They're so different, completely different, and you might be kind of justified in thinking, okay, but this one it being a biblical interpretation by Saramago might align itself with the kind of stuff that he did with the gospel according to Jesus Christ. But that would be full on assumption, and you just don't know, until you read the words and you know what he's really saying or getting at. So I'm gonna withhold any kind of judgment. That's for sure. I'm not gonna jump to it, but it will be, knives out if I feel like, if it Saramago, you never know what he's gonna do. All right, so I did pick up, and these are pickups that I've had. I still have a huge stack, huge stack of books that I haven't shown, that I have, got at thrift stores m- month ago. You know, I just keep showing things that I'm interested in or that I am reading and things like that, and I never worked through a book, a stack, but I did get two from Khalil Gibran. Cool. I'll do it. Khalil Gibran wrote the Prophet, It's a Persian poet, and not only poetry. One of these is poetry, and one is reflections on the path of the heart. This is just writings like essays, but just writings on love, marriage, and the spiritual union of souls. Is this one, The Beloved? This kind of Persian mystic poetry is very, very much love oriented, coupling oriented, like the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, of course, and then also Rumi, Rumi, the most wonderful of those kind of poets. The Prophet is amazing. The Prophet is amazing. I love The Prophet. I have a beautiful edition. I should have grabbed it just because I knew I was going to show these, that I should have grabbed it and brought it in here, but I didn't. But I have a wonderful, beautiful edition of The Prophet, and these actually have sketches too. The Beloved has some sketches in here, and this is just like a mass market paperback, and it has multiple illustrations. Look like maybe even some William Blake style, but Khalil Gibran might have just done them himself like this. When it comes down to it, they're just lines, that really focused on line, not a lot of embellishment, and this up and down, like, really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out, that's for sure. Who might be? Yeah, The Prophet is awesome. And then so these poems also have pictures. A few, not a lot, but they're still like the pilgrim. They're archetypal, these here in this book. But I can't wait to read some more Gibran, even if it's just this one's poetry. But there's chapters like in The Prophet where it's like on gentleness and of science and knowledge, of freedom, of happiness and hope, of religion, of justice, all that. And there's a little kind of bio, in this one here too. So the procession, I'm down for it. Gonna keep it just right out on top where I can just read some poetry anytime I want. That's the way I got to do with poetry, or else I just won't read it. When I get caught in a book, when a book really gets me and grabs my attention, then I'm just off with it. It's on. A friend of mine on Instagram, another one, sent me a book by Alice Munro, and it's My Best Stories, and it's a collection of short stories by Alice Munro. So I had got another. It's just that her stories are so well done. I got Runaway, and this is a story collection as well. Let's see what we're looking at with this one. Yeah, there's a good amount, not a lot. So 8 short stories, and we're at maybe 335 pages for 8 short stories. So killer, right? I mean, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be solid, that's for sure. But I always want to get to short stories, and I get short stories when I see them for real cheap because I don't dive into short stories very often. So, but I just need to lay them around too, like keep some short stories around. But I always get them and then say that I'll read some short stories at some point. But I just stay with books, full novels. When I finish one, I just pick another one up, and I just keep going. And that's just how it goes for me. I'd rather like read something that's going to give me some real meat, something that's really got some story to it. one thing that I have picked up that has a lot of playfulness to it and is a literary feat, so I hear, is Cortazar's Hopscotch. I have Blow Up and Other Stories by Cortazar, but that's it. And I've only read a couple of those. Jack was reading uh Blow Up and Other Stories, I think. The same, not the same edition, but the same collection. And so Hopscotch is all over the place. If somebody is talking about um experimental works, experimental fiction, put something that pushes the limits of a novel or literature, you can basically read this book however you want. If you get my drift, I mean that you can actually read the book in any way you want. In its own way, this book consists of many books, but two books above all. The first can be read in normal fashion, and it ends with chapter 56, at the close of which there are three garish little stars which stands for the words, "The End." Consequently, the reader may ignore what follows with a clean conscience. So then it proceeds to tell you the second book that this is should be read by beginning with chapter 73 and then following the sequence indicated at the end of each chapter. In case of confusion or forgetfulness, one need only consult the following list. And then here's the list of chapters in all different order, right? There seems to be like 140 chapters. I think 140 is the highest number that I've seen. But it's 140 chapters. And you're jumping around the whole time like a choose your own adventure. But do you choose? I don't know. Each chapter has its number at the top of every right-hand page to facilitate the search. So the numbers and the chapters are in the right order. Chapter 1 is first, chapter 2 is second, chapter 3 is third. In the book, how it's written. But how you'll read it is jumping from chapter to chapter, starting with chapter 73. So you already go up to page, where are we? 382. No, 383. 383 starts the book, right? And it's 2.5 pages long. And that, at the end of that, it says 1. So you go to chapter 1. So you're going to start on 73 and go to chapter 1. We'll see, but you just keep going like that, and then you read every chapter in the book. If you don't read it like that, then you're just going to read straight forward and read to chapter 53. And then that's going to be it. You know what I mean? For the experience of what the story is telling. Yeah. Very cool, Brandon. Nice to see you. For sure. Thanks for coming by. Happy Friday. And then I don't know. I just don't know what to expect, but an amazing experience, I'm sure. An experience that is unique. It is experimental fiction. It is that kind of thing. That's what it's about, is to do something unique, special, whatever, right? Very cool. So that's kind of what I wanted to show tonight, for sure. Finished Broom of the System, getting into Mouse. I want to get into From Hell. I'll do that one. From Hell, and it'll come up soon. We'll see when. That's just going to be something that I'll just pick up whenever I pick it up. And then coming up, I mean, it might just really be like a lockdown on House of Leaves and Infinite Jest, because that's going to be all that I could possibly focus on reading wise anyways if I do that. So it's just going to be that. What's up, Josh? Happy Friday. Nice to see you, brother. Hope everything's going good up there in Buffalo. For sure. Yeah, it does seem like a choose your own adventure novel. For sure. Yeah. Tom said that From Hell was just an amazing experience. That you just have to read it. It's awesome. And Alan Moore is an amazing writer, and what he does with it is great. Just it's wonderful. What he has said about it is wonderful. It was such a cool video. I love to hear his thoughts. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that and read it for sure. And I will. I've read House of Leaves before, and I've gone through it a couple of times. I can't wait to do it again. It's so freaking good. So freaking good. So I'm still intimidated about Infinite Jest. Is what it comes down to. Even after reading all big books all year long, I still am intimidated by David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest. When I mean, I don't think there's a single book out there that I couldn't read. You know, I don't think so. I don't think so. And but I still have that kind of apprehension because it's who knows what to expect. I mean, the Broom of the System is crazy. It's crazy fun, but it's crazy as hell. Uh, it just keeps going. It has such a pace to it. The Broom of the System has such a pace that you're just like, yes, it's wild. Oh, like I said, I'll put out some content on that. Tom and I will probably do some kind of discussion content on that because it was fun to buddy read it and to experience this craziness with somebody else as well. So that's about it for tonight, guys. It's been awesome hanging out with y'all, that's for sure. It's always awesome on Friday. Thank you everybody that comes by and hangs out and talks books for an hour with me on Friday nights. I do it every Friday and I do it the same time. So if you're here, if you're able, then come on by. I like to get people on too, and really have kind of discussion. It's all about finding something to talk about that's not going to spoil anything for anybody else. We don't want to talk about a certain book on lives too much. You know what I mean? I've done that before, and it's always kind of like, I don't know. But if we talk about reading in some kind of way, or talk about books, or about a genre, or about authors instead of individual works so much, then that'll work. Things like that. So very cool. Thank you everybody that always comes by and makes Friday nights so freaking fun and very cool. Everybody is just a wonderful community, wonderful support. Um, we sit here and champion each other along, and all for the love of books and all for the love of stories, right? Good stuff. Thank you, Lady Jane Books. Good night. Pavio, Bookish Bryants. Yeah. Y'all have a great one.